Welcome back, everyone. So we're going to look at train fare part 2. We're going to create two functions, bus fare and discount. But before we can do that, we need to make sure that we have our work from last week complete and correct. So this is the code that I emailed to everyone to get you started. So we're going to set an age variable first. Okay, and we do that by asking a user to input his age. Now, here's the tricky part, okay? When input comes from the console, it is automatically a string data type. So the first step we have to do is we have to convert that string to a number. If we don't do that first, well, look at this. We're doing some numeric comparisons, greater than or equal to or not equal to. Those numeric comparisons will fail on a string. So we have to take our string input and convert it first to an integer. And we do that by preceding it with the int, the integer function, open bracket. And wherever you have an open bracket, you have to have a closed bracket. And likewise with the input, you can see an open bracket there and a closed bracket. So take a moment to make sure the brackets line up. We do a test to see if the person's over 65. If they are, they're a senior. If they're between 18 and 64, they are an adult, and so on. So let's do a copy and paste that into our code editor. Okay, and let's finish it off. So we have a senior and we have the adult. Let's do the same thing with youth. Now with a youth, well, being a teenager starts at age 14 according to the table in the assignment. So if age is greater than or equal to 14 and age is less than or equal to 18. Now, a common mistake people make is they say greater than or equal to 14 and, less than or equal to 18. You can't do that. You have to write the whole thing out again with a variable. So age is less than or equal to 18. Okay, so that's the case of a youth. And then what are we going to do? Well, we're going to set the fare. Okay, we're going to set the fare equal to a youth fare. So and the youth fare, I believe, was $60 or was $80. So let's go ahead and enter $80 for that. Now, before I go any further, okay, let's go ahead and test this because there's an obvious error here. Well, it may not be so obvious, but there is an error here, and we need to get used to reading the output console and identifying those errors. So let's go ahead and run it. Okay, we see an error. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to see what line is my error on. It's on line 6. And then I'm going to read what it says here. Well, it says there's a syntax error, so I didn't really type things out correctly, but I know the problem is on line 6. So if I go to line 6, look at this. I didn't end the line with a colon. So you start the if, okay, you have to have a colon on that line, and every else if has to have a colon at the end as well. So that corrects our error. If we run it again, we see we're prompted for our age. So let's go ahead and stop this and continue with our code. So we have the youth entered, and now we're going to put an else if in here. Now notice the autocomplete here. Okay, I'm just going to hit the tab key on my keyboard to automatically put that in. So if the age now is less than 14, we know we're dealing with a child. Don't forget the colon at the end, common mistake. And then we say the fare is for a child. And I don't remember what a child fare was, so I will just put in free, but you can go to the table to see exactly what that is. So the fare equals this, and that's what it will print out. I did a mistake over here with age. I mistyped age, so we'll correct that as well. So when you're done your code here, you want to test it on all the boundaries: 13, 14, 17, 18, and 64, 65. Notice here that with the child, I have less than 14, not less than and equal to. So that's a common mistake. We have overlap here. We have less than or equal to 14, and then up here, greater than and equal to 14. That's a mistake because 14 comes out in both child and in youth. So you have to be very careful with that to make sure there's no overlap. Here's another little trick I do to make sure I don't have any overlap. Instead of less than 14, I do less than or equal to 13. So 13 years and under. So that completes the code from last week. Now we want to convert. Now we want to create a couple of functions, and I'll show you how to do functions in the next video.